Philly Jim coming at you guys with another video right now. And the Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going up against each other in week 2. Down in Atlanta, it's a Sunday night game. It's a primetime game. It's going to be a big game for both these teams. Atlanta is coming off of a loss to the Minnesota Vikings, 28-12. The Minnesota Vikings got after Matt Ryan. They had 4 sacks. They had 7 tackles for loss. They were also able to run the ball really well. They ran the ball for over 170 yards. Total as a unit, Dalvin Cook, he had over 111 yards on however many carries it was. So the Minnesota Vikings were able to take the pressure off Kirk Cousins, make him rely on Dalvin Cook and that running game, and they're able to run the ball and they're able to be effective, and that's pretty much how they won the game. Now with Atlanta, they have a high-powered offense. They have a lot of weapons. They have an underrated defense. So this is not going to be the same Falcons team that played against the Minnesota Vikings. They are at home. They are going to come to play. They are going to be looking to get back on track. They're going to be in front of their home fans. It's their home opener. There's going to be a lot of energy there. It's not an easy place to play. The Eagles haven't won there down in Atlanta a long time, even though we've won the last 3 meetings, including the playoffs against Atlanta, but all of those games were in Philadelphia. This game is in Atlanta. It's going to be a tough environment. It's a good test on the road for this Philadelphia Eagles team. Carson Wentz and the Eagles coming off that win in the division against Washington, big comeback. We all know that. Carson Wentz played really well. Deshaun Jackson was making plays. But defensively, you cannot allow the same thing to happen that happened early on in the game against Washington, against this Falcons team. This Falcons team has Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and Mohamed Sanu and Austin Hooper. So they have a lot of firepower. They can score a lot of points, and I'm not worried as to whether or not we can score enough points. I believe we can score enough points. But the defense, pass rush, you have to get there. Secondary, you have to play better. Rasul Douglas was getting abused by nobodies. That cannot happen in this game. Julio Jones will eat us alive. Calvin Ridley will eat us alive. Their weapons will eat us alive. So it's very, very important that Jim Schwartz puts in the right game plan. The defensive line has to get home. They have to get pressure, and they have to get home, and they have to get in Matt Ryan's face, and they have to force Matt Ryan to throw the ball before he wants to. You throw Matt Ryan's timing off, Matt Ryan, he doesn't like having all that pressure in his face. It gets to his head. And that's how we've beaten him the last 3 times. We get to him, we screw up his timing, and it just gets in his head. So we have to get in Matt Ryan's head in order to win this game. Now I'm looking on the defensive line to call upon some different names. You know, I want to see Deshaun Hall coming into this rotation. You know, we're able to get pressure, but we got more guys that we can rotate in, keep our main guys fresh. I'd like to see what Jim Schwartz does with the defensive line rotation in this game. Timmy Jernigan will start at defensive tackle. Malik Jackson is out for the season with his injury. They don't know if they'll get him back for the playoffs or not, but that is a big loss for the Eagles' defensive line depth. What are the Eagles going to do? Are the Eagles going to look at these defensive tackles that are free agents right now? Muhammad Wilkerson is a free agent. Is Howie Roseman going to give a call to Muhammad Wilkerson? Is he going to give a call to Benny Logan, who spent some time here in Philadelphia before he went off to Kansas City? We are probably going to pick someone up. We have $14 million in cap space, so it's not like we can't afford to bring someone in. You still have Bruce Hector on the practice squad that you could possibly bring up, but is Bruce Hector going to be what we need? I don't think so. So I think it's more likely that the Eagles go after either Muhammad Wilkerson, and also Benny Logan is also an option. So anyway, guys, last thing about this game, offensive line. The offensive line did a great job against the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins actually had a pretty good defensive front. I think this Atlanta Falcons team has a good defensive front. They have some good players on their defense. Deion Jones, the linebacker, he can make plays. He can run all over the field. He can cover. He can wrap up. He can do it all. I really like Deion Jones. I think he's very underrated. I don't think that name kind of pops out to people as much as you got big name guys like Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly and others. But Deion Jones, he can flat out play. I think he's a really, really good player. They also have guys along the edge who can get to the quarterback, Vic Beasley being one of them. They also have Adrian Claiborne a few years ago against Dallas. I believe he had like 5 sacks in that game. I could be wrong. It could be someone else, but I'm pretty sure it was Adrian Claiborne who did that. So he's not a bad player either. They also have Takarius McKinley, Tack McKinley. He was drafted out of UCLA a couple years ago. I think he's explosive off the line. I think he could give us some problems. This defensive front can do some damage, but we just got to depend on this offensive line to hold these guys at bay and give Carson Wentz enough time to get the ball to the playmakers. The rest will take care of itself. I don't think Desmond Trufant and the guys in their secondary are going to be able to slow these guys down as long as Carson Wentz gets protection. I think we're going to find a way to pull this one out. I think it's going to be high scoring. They'll probably be in the 30s. I'm going 38, 35. Philadelphia Eagles get another win on the road. Tough road test, but we get to 2-0. Headed back to Philly to take on the Detroit Lions next week. Let me know what your thoughts and comments are down below. This is your host from the Most Philly Jim. If you're new to the channel, a couple things I want to say before I hop off of here. Tomorrow night and every Wednesday night moving forward at 10:30 p.m., you can catch me on Joey Shake 72's channel. We are going to dive into the Atlanta Falcons and this matchup, things we want to look out for with that. So with that being said, guys, make sure you go to Joey Shake's channel tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. Well, tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Make sure you're there for that. Also, after every game this year, I'm doing live recaps directly after the game. Just so I have all my fresh thoughts on my mind. You guys can check those out there. But anyway, always appreciate support. Leave a like. Get this video out there. Leave your comments down below, and go Birds.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.